Hey everyone, this is Scott Computer here. This video is going to cover how to stop an enemy from roaming. I'll be covering the main tips, strategies and general tricks you can use in an attempt to stop a laner from going elsewhere throughout the laning phase. Versus Ahri, LeBlanc, Twisted Fate, Pantheon, Malphite, Ashe, Blitzcrank, Thresh, and about half the champions in League of Legends. It can be a pain when behind or even equal in score and seeing your enemy run a rampage around the map. This video will be great to counter any of these roam based champions by either allowing you to roam or at least follow them, or you just stop the roam, or at least cost them a mass amount when they attempt to roam, or at least let your teammates see it a mile off. Anyway, it should be a really good counter, and let's jump right in. Warding. So the diagram below shows the best 2 wards for each lane, and I'll mention a special one no one is using. First, the normal wards. As you can see, it's a fundamentally basic ward. Laners have to walk down the river or jungle to be able to gank. Simple, we all know about this. Even someone like a Twisted Fate has to walk in a little bit to be gank anything. Now, I'll cover a special ward. If you're a laner is a huge roamer, I'm talking 100% will roam. Warding directly a little bit beyond the middle of the lane, as the example below shows, is the best way to get ward cover. It's one of the best wards you can throw down. As you can see in the diagram, I've covered the middle of the lane. So the reason why a laner pushes is to deny vision, and so that you can clear the minions before and then clear another minion wave path before it goes under the turret. So for someone to roam, they have to push first and foremost. And one of the reasons why they do this is also vision, because once you push, as you see, once you've killed all your minions, you've got no vision of them, and they can use this lack of vision to basically dip off to one of the side lanes and end lane at all, and you just wouldn't simply know. So the best way of doing this overall is throwing the ward just beyond their turret. You will see them no matter what. If they try to go left, right, up, down, go back to the turret, they will know they're under vision, and there's no way to leave the lane without being seen. This fundamentally is a complete counter, and nobody uses this type of ward for some reason. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you protection from ganks, but mid to late game, these are really common and very powerful wards, and hopefully we'll use them. Now, once they're seen, that should almost completely nullify anything. Pressure them. Most roams come from passive laners allowing their enemy to do what they want when they want. Now, if you're in a real bad matchup, of course, don't do this. Don't attempt to go out of your comfort zone. But if the matchup's about even, or hell, even in your favor, and some people don't press it, if you are normally a passive player, at least try to keep a little bit of pressure on your enemy. Poke them down, force them to use maybe a summoner, a bit of mana, and of course, a drop in HP, which makes your enemy more hesitant about roaming and just making it more of a general risk. Of course, this is a really fundamentally basic point, but it is quite useful, and it does stop people from roaming. If you can even, as Annie, throw down Tibbers, even though you won't get a kill condition, to lower half their HP, which means they might not roam if you're struggling in the lane. Follow. A cool tip you can use if you don't have extra spare wards to put in the middle of the lane, like my previous strategy suggested, is once they've nearly cleared the minions or cleared all of them, what you can do is you can aggro your minions and then run past them and run up the lane to see if you can catch your enemy's roam. Especially whenever someone just pushes the waves to the middle of the lane, then tries to roam. What I generally do is I run up really quickly to make sure they're not roaming, and you should get vision. If you just run past your minions and their minions and run behind them, you'll get vision of your enemy if they dipped off even for a second, and you normally tag where they're going, which means as soon as they know they've been seen, they stop roaming immediately. So basically, in top, for example, use the bushes to run past the CS from the back of the wave. You can also do that in the side lanes. You can actually run past some flowing mini waves to see where your enemy are. And just make sure you're doing this with relative safety. Don't be crazy about it, but it is a really good strategy. Push. Now the biggest ultimate counter to roaming. Pushing. A good wave clear champion completely counters any roam based one. For example, if I'm playing a Nivea, a very common push farm based champion, and I'm constantly pushing, clearing the mini wave in seconds, the Ahri I'm versus, it has to keep on wave clearing to keep up with me. Now, the first reason for this is she's under constant vision because I'm pushing and the minions are in her face. So if she leaves the lane, I'll see it. I will 100% see it, and I'll know she's missing in a second because my minions are pushing against her. And that's the reason why vision's really important. If they can't push you back, they never get a lack of vision on their end, and they can't roam. The second, of course, is that she just can't leave because she'll lose a lot of gold. She's not going to be able to do anything. Basically, if I'm just constantly perpetually pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, if she leaves for one roam while I'm basically under the turret, as soon as she leaves, she'll lose 2 to 4 minion waves immediately, and it can be as much as 6 waves if your enemy who roamed has to recoil or go back. This is see if let's say the Ahri roamed and got a double kill. Now you'd be like, oh, that's worth, man, it's worth. No, because if she roamed under that condition, she would lose probably, and I'm saying pretty likely, more minions than she would have got. And additionally, not only minions is she's losing lots of experience. So merely pushing it really, really heavily completely stops the laner from roaming. They lose too much experience, you have constant vision of them, and they know their lane's under threat, and they have no time to go anything else. And now, it does come at risks of you being ganked, but assuming you've got wards in the side lanes, if you keep on pushing, a laner just can't roam. It's just not possible. Now, of course, not every champion has fantastic wave clear, and I'm going to cover that as well. If you've just got a good wave clear champion, it's still relatively easily. Certain other champions are harder to push with. Just remember with something like an Annie, remember to auto attack the wave when it's coming towards you, and immediately start pushing it as early as possible. A lot of people just try and last hit when they're versus big wave clears. Make sure you're wave clearing with them. The faster you wave clear, the better. Kite it down with auto attacks, and when pushing, focus the minions, not the turret, to force your enemy to lose the most amount of CS possible. If someone has roamed, just focus the CS, not the turret, because it means the CS will constantly, your CS will constantly flow into the turret. It'll cost them so much. Most experienced players know, but this massive push can cost them a lot. This is the reason why in professional level play, we don't see the mid laner roaming off very often. I'm telling you that much, and you may think to yourself, actually, yeah, you're right, I don't. And it's because they play mainly push-based champions to control the lane. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Pushing at 100% is the most ultimate counter to this kind of playstyle. And that's it for all the very generic basic tips, guys. There's not too much beyond this. This is, relatively speaking, the only real way of countering roaming. And I know a lot of players, a couple of people have messaged me about this over a long period of time. I've messages and messages and messages. My enemy's roaming, what do I do? I feel helpless, and this hopefully will be a nice kick in the direction to help these guys out. And that's it, guys. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. If you like the content, you can subscribe. If you think that's horrible, total trash, and I'm totally wrong, you can on something totally fair. Beyond that, guys, have an absolutely great day. Best of luck in the Rift, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.